Welcome to Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. I'm here with Mr. Throwback Boat Captain, Tate Mathews. Tate, thanks for being here. Can you explain the get-up? It's early in the show.
Well, there's a lot going on this week, but two things really important to recognize. But obviously the boat captain is back, and he's here at the start of the show. And I felt that it was very needed because, one, Fairview, not only, we'll get to it, did they get back to being the Fairview of old, they got back to Coach Hughes, the boat captain, trying to make sure he gets back snappies before 9:15. That happened. Coach Finch went up to Sumner County.
That was nice.
And
I like that.
You loved it, without a doubt. He put his boat captain hat on. And then we had a Thursday night boat captain and Coach Paul Derrick. Usually he's headed down to Alabama to Lake Wilson. He had the 40-foot Donzie out. So boat captain's back. Thought we'd start the show off with it. And then Creed is out today. And, for those that haven't ever, the coaches have been here. For those that haven't been in the studio, the WCTV studio, sometimes it can get a little chilly down here, regardless of what the elements are outside. And Creed wasn't here. We were talking about Newt, and I ran across these throwback WCTV windbreakers. I mean, this has to go back to the original executive producer of the show, Mr. Newt Danley. What a fantastic man. This kind of looks like Newt, kind of goes with the boat captain. Wearing it in honor of Newt and also in thanks of Newt. We've talked about it many times, but I actually saw it. I didn't hear about this. I saw it. The first show Jeremy Qualls was ever the host of, producer of. Newt, Newt been doing it a while, man. He knew what he was doing.
Had a
routine, was a man of routine, correct. A man of habit. And Jeremy says, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take this thing on location. We're going to do game day every week. And I thought Newt was going to shut the show down there. So thanks, Newt. Hope you're doing well wherever you are, brother.
And I feel like, that's got the whole sailorish.
This thing's sweet.
Kind of
throwback logo. Check that out, man.
It's awesome. Got a feeling we're going to see that again.
Yes.
Tate, let's jump right in with football. WCTV game of the week. Independence with another overtime game after last week's overtime game with Page. They come up short this week, 29-23 Centennial. A wild beginning and ending. Now, it starts off with WCS game day. Indy Nation brought it.
They brought it.
Got the night started that way, so that was fun. Then both teams, I've never seen this.
Did you take a picture of it? The scoreboard?
Safeties, 2-2.
And we're talking two good football teams.
I've never heard of that.
Me either.
I don't know what it would take to look that up, but I can't imagine that's happened hardly ever.
Yeah. It's happened. Has it ever happened in WCS? Probably not.
2-2.
It's had to have happened somewhere.
2-2.
And both of them were poor, bad quarterback snaps, which happens sometimes. But, it wasn't like, it's crazy. You're right. That won't happen again in our tenure of this show.
Correct. The game ends. They go to overtime. Cody, Mr. 36 on the ACT, Williamson, with an interception for Centennial. And then one play later, Dominic Reed scores for the final margin, 29-23. A little anticlimactic in a way because we were building up to that overtime, and then that interception really took the, no pun intended, air out of the sails of Independence. It was a great game. Centennial seemed to be behind all night. They were up 2-0, and then they were down 16-2. Going a run to get up 23-16, but then Independence ties it. You just don't know which way it's going to go as that thing played out. Centennial really dominated yards-wise, 362 to 185. But the difference, Centennial had 18 penalties, only 7 for Independence, and really that kept Indy in the game, really, and the turnovers. So let me ask you this. I think, you talk to Coach Stewart, and he's talking about flying around the ball. I think they're not used to maybe gearing it back just a tad where it's not penalties, so to speak. I think that's a lot of it. I think you'll see as the season progresses, they'll get that down to single digits. And when they do, look out.
Look out. Well, They're already undefeated. It was a problem in the Franklin game. Didn't get to see the Summit game, and that one didn't look like it was much of a problem, or wasn't an opportunity for being much of a problem. But you're right. They will get it under control. They will go down, and it's always easier to fix those kind of problems after a win than it is a loss.
Way easier.
But you're right. That will bite them late in the season if that doesn't get fixed. He knows that. They will. Hey, that's why it's called between the whistles, man.
That's right.
We want controlled chaos. We want that aggression. And, man, they are aggressive on both sides of the ball. Just got to be between the whistles.
Tate, that leads me to this week's gem.
The gems keep coming earlier and earlier.
3-0, Centennial, first time since 2014. And I wanted to add a little more to this. Snaps a 4-game winning streak for Indy. They'd won 8 out of 9 in this matchup. It's the first win at Independence since 2010. It was a 10-9 district,
Yes.
not region win. The OZ plan, I believe. Is that what that was back then?
I believe it was, and what a brutal plan that was. But, hey,
That was maybe the biggest clown show plan ever.
Clown, Bozo came in and
But I'm going to guess that,
led the Board of Control
listen,
meeting.
since I'm one of them, not Bozo, because I was kind of against this stuff, I feel like a lot of this goes on, it's on basketball coaches. We need to have the same league. So they tried to have the same league. I feel like I've introduced that voice a lot.
I love that. By the way, whenever that comes, that's not good. That's not a compliment.
So they said, okay, we'll make, because people were basically the same leagues, right?
Right.
But not really.
Right.
Because when you went to the playoffs, let's add more confusion to it.
Add more confusion to it.
Anyway.
And then you ended up having people getting in the playoffs and just getting annihilated 73-0 in the first round of the playoffs, and having to pay for buses to get. It was a bad plan. But hey, one, great stats, great gem. Back in 2010, those two teams might have been the two best teams in the state.
15. You might have been thinking about 15
Yeah,
too.
I know, but back then too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were both.
Well, I didn't
good.
realize in
Yeah.
10 that was the case.
Yeah.
15 was state championship year.
Yes.
They played twice. Indy rolled both times. It's the only 2 losses Centennial had, and they weren't in the same league.
That's right.
That was one of the few times they weren't, and this time they're not in the same league.
Centennial. No, the year Independence won it with Blade.
Not the same league.
Not same region or same league.
Region. They played just a regular game during
I'll
the
be
year.
danged. They were good.
And they played the semis. Think about it. That'd be a quarterfinal, right?
Yes.
It was a
right.
semi.
They were in the same division, not the same region. Gotcha.
Correct.
That's impressive.
Which is odd.
That's crackerjack right there.
Listen, I am a crackerjack.
Yes, because I remember they played in the playoffs, and Indy beat them again because they won.
Bad both times.
They won 15. Centennial would have won it that year had there not been that
Now,
independence.
Dr. Qualls claims Indy might have beat Ravenwood that year if they'd played. That was the Ravenwood state championship team.
Oh, yeah. They had one loss, I believe, Ravenwood. Maybe to Centennial. They did. Their loss was to Centennial. How about that? Ravenwood was playing pretty good I would have liked to have seen it. Let's say that. Hey, what about this? Here's the encouraging thing for Independence, I think. By the way, we've been talking about it. Coach Stidham, man.
Awesome.
Is he a cool customer or what?
He is.
I don't think any stage is too big for that guy.
No, me neither.
So it was kind of flipped, right? Did not play very well. Let's not take anything away from Page, but did not play very well in week 2 in the first half. Played lights out in the second half. This week, played lights out in the first half. Second half wasn't their best. We get these two things put together, these two halves put together, we got a really good football team, which is going to happen.
Luke McNeely keeps coming. Not only
He's the Travis Hunter of WCS.
4 for 8 passing. We coming. Two TDs,
Road trip.
both to Braden Needham.
Yep.
He also had a 67-yard pick six
Yeah.
to put him up 9-2. Great night for him. And Dominic Reed for Centennial. Samson, I know you're out there watching. he's not the original. There's only going to be one.
That's right.
Missed a touchdown.
Mr. Touchdown.
But this year's Mr. Touchdown has to be Dominic Reed. 11 touchdowns. 4, 4, 3.
4, 4, 3. Here's the other thing, too.
Those overtime touchdowns, I mean, they count, but
Yeah.
they don't feel quite the same to me.
Well, but here's
But
what
they count.
Here's what I thought about it. The guy's playing at such a high level of confidence, but his team believes in him. I thought it surprised me. You know, Centennial gets that interception in overtime, and then the very first play, it was like he knew, I'm taking this thing in.
I think everybody knew.
I mean,
and it didn't matter.
It didn't matter. And he took that thing in for 10 yards, touchdown. They believe when he's got the ball in his hands, they believe. And hey, big win against a 6A. There is, you know that. Now the good ones can find a way around it. But the difference between 5A and 6A is considerable. We agree with that, right?
Yes. In terms of who's playing plays, really.
That's a 5A win on the road against a really good 6A program. Man, Centennial, it's going to be fun to see how far this thing can go.
Looking forward to.
You're playing with an edge.
I've got, and listen, Nolensville too, but I've got that Page Centennial October 20th. I'm feeling, the Page faithful been asking for game day. Katie Hill, the principal's been calling me on the phone like, when's our game day?
Hey,
got me on speakerphone with Coach Rathbone. He's going, yeah, when's game day? I'm like, man.
Dr. Hill brings it too.
She brings it.
And it's got to be said. Game day today, as always, Dr. Patton, she brought it. If you're the principal on the other side of a game day and she's involved and you don't come prepared, it's not going to be good for you.
I want to see a Page Indy game day. Hill versus Patton.
Be great.
Be great.
I'd love it.
Be great. Page,
We got a
35-17.
play of the week.
Oh, how can I forget? How can I forget
You were
this?
seeing if I was on my toes.
I was excited about this, and it's sort of reminiscent of last week.
The name you've heard before.
Let's take a look at that play of the week.
I'm going to guess they're probably going to go with a quick screen here. They're not going to get all 20. We'll see what they do here. Nope, he's going to look for all of it. He's throwing Cox back.
Oh, he's open.
Has a man. And just like that, touchdown, Centennial High School. Coach, no flags on the field.
That is
Number 3, Kenai Big Time Johnson on the touchdown there. Nieves, beautiful pass right down the middle. And Coach, we're 2 points away from a tie ball game.
Yeah.
All right, so our man Kenai Johnson back again, a little bit different.
Don't call me Connie.
Don't call me Connie. Or maybe call me Connie. Kenai Johnson, it's the same result. It's about a 60-plus, 70-yard touchdown. It was done a little bit differently this time. He just shows the straight takeoff speed, and we saw a lot of it in college football. Sometimes those are the hardest balls to catch, right? So great concentration on that deep ball. Blew by 2 defenders. There was a third over there, kind of in the picture. Felt sorry for him. And great throw by our man, don't call me Nieves, right? Nieves. But go back and watch that. The gold stars on that play is the offensive line. They gave him time to get that ball there. He had a couple of, I don't know if crow hops are the right word, shuffles up, gave him plenty of time, gave him room to get that thing wound up and hit him deep. That was a great play. And if you've been listening to Coach Stewart, he don't be surprised about Kenai Johnson. He's been telling you ever since Mojo's Tacos at Media Day that he's going to be one of our bigger weapons. And here he is, play of the week twice. We've only played 3 games.
How about on the call? Doug Capella and our man,
Paul Brees. Capella and Brees have become quite the tag team.
It ain't easy being Breesy.
It ain't easy being Brees. That'd be a great T-shirt. If we were, would they be more Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express,
Road Warriors.
the Rockers, Road? No, we're not giving them that. Grandmaster Sex Ed, whatever.
I was thinking looks.
Yeah. We need to get him some T-shirts. It ain't easy being Breezy. I love it.
Breesy.
Breezy, yeah.
Breesy.
Great job, fellas.
No, they do.
They always bring it.
Do a really good job. All right, now we're going to Page Franklin. 35-17, Franklin, very much closer than the score. Page gets out 7-0. Franklin has a 17-7-3 all the way to midway through the third quarter. It looks like they're going to pull the upset on the road, but Page scores 28 unanswered in the last 14 minutes. Here's what I would say. I'm curious about your thoughts here. One, Page is used to winning.
Yep.
Franklin, let's face it, lately they're really not. And I think the depth for Franklin, it keeps showing up at the end of the games. You look at their fourth quarters, I know when they get behind, maybe that not used to winning thing clicks in. I think it's more depth. I really do. Even though it's 5A versus 6A, don't confuse it. You take a look at Page, they look like a 6A team. And here's the thing that's scary. Page is banged up.
They're so banged up.
Once they get healthy, and they will,
Yes.
look out.
Their offensive line is a mash unit.
And they're still doing a good job.
Still doing a great job, and got even more banged up. Here's the other tough thing, Hey, Franklin, the record might not reflect it, but they're a quality 6A program. Page got beat up again Friday night, so I know they'll be glad to get out of this. But they're so close. You see it again. Brewer Wilson hit TD passes to Lucas Young and Wills Jackson. You saw that in the Centennial game, man. That's a potent combination, either one of them, right? That he's throwing to, and I'm with you, man. I think they just wore down, but I know they don't want to hear that. They got to figure it out, but something good has to be coming, right?
Well,
there's too many good things
listen,
going on.
Franklin plays Indy. You predicted at Mojo's Tacos.
I was there. Playoffs.
Franklin's going to be third, you said. Well, they're not going to be third unless they beat Indy this week.
Got to beat Indy.
So
Indy's had a couple of overtime games.
let me tell you what the doctor ordered, speaking of injuries, for Page. Laverne.
Yes. Coach Rathbone, if you'd like to stop by, pick up the captain hat and the glasses, you can take them with you. Lavergne. Hey.
204 yards rushing, 203 passing. Is that balanced or what?
That's super duper balanced. Palmer got better. So I was gonna say, that's a great. That could have been your gym. That's really balanced.
It's balanced.
Palmer got better this week. Henry Kaysen, you see that name?
Keep hearing that guy's name.
That's right. So a lot of guys contributed, and the development of the running game in these first three tough games with Ethan Cunningham going to be very important down the stretch.
Here's what I like about this. Again, trying to look at the positive. You talked about that offensive line, mash unit. You're going to have to play those dudes eventually anyway. Well, they're getting playing time now, which when the games get bigger, they'll be ready.
That's
you
right.
hate to have to start playing them then. They'll be ready.
They'll be ready.
Ethan Cunningham, a couple touchdowns. He's another guy that just scores touchdown. Brendan Ains, a touchdown. Caden Walker, a touchdown. You mentioned with Franklin, you keep seeing Wilson to Young and Jackson.
We got to develop some sort of a running game.
Got to develop a run game. That may be more a question of the offensive line, honestly, that they're throwing. And listen, Wilson's dynamic, and Young and Jackson, they got to get it to the dudes.
That's right.
Here we come again. Brentwood 43, Hendersonville is good.
They were undefeated.
Brentwood, they had a ton of guys out, and they rolled 43-6. I love that result.
Very impressive. Very impressive. I think we all thought Brentwood would win. But a boat race,
Wasn't close.
a running clock against the Hendersonville Commandos on the road. Yeah, man. And they are doing it. They're doing it. Everything's playing well.
What's that marina?
Anchor High?
Marina.
Yeah, right down from Anchor High. Boy, they got to Anchor High quick, didn't
I
they?
didn't know if Clint Finch came in through Anchor High Marina, but he definitely left that way.
Well, he actually pulled his boat up there, and then they put it in down at Stark Knob, and he drove it home because they got to leave so early. But hey, man, they got so many people playing well, but sometimes that's the great thing about being a quarterback, right? When you win, you get too much credit. Who said that? I think it's true. When you win, you get too much credit. When you lose, you get too much of the blame. Baylor Hayes, man, he has lived up to the advertisement, the billing so far, man. He is playing at a very, very high level. He's leading this team. It's kind of like Dominic Reed, but in a different way. You can tell the Bruins believe in this guy. They'll follow this guy. And I don't really see any links. They've got great receivers and a nice passing game. The running game is good. Offensive line, which I always thought that was what kind of gave them the edge this year. And then defensively, they're playing really well. Hey, Mason Baker, the quarterback for Hendersonville, was lighting people up in the first 2 weeks. Over 500 yards of total offense, almost 10 touchdowns. He didn't sniff. It was a tail kicking.
Clayton Merrill, how about the night he had? 6-yard touchdown reception. 55-yard kickoff return that led to a touchdown.
Yep.
And oh, by the way, I'm going to fire one to Matthew Manning for a 50-yard touchdown as well. Great night for him. You mentioned Hayes, another good night. Gavin Nelson, Sam Bonner, both with rushing touchdowns. Congratulations to Brentwood. Thursday night boat race, Paul Derrick style. And it's getting old, but it's not.
No,
40
we
to-
can never get tired of boat races.
40-8 over McGavick. Ty Collins, he's another guy that keeps improving.
Yep.
15 for 18, 254 yards, a touchdown. He also had a rushing touchdown. Here's what I like too. A little look into the future. Aaron Sylvester, the sophomore. He comes in, he's 3 for 4, 45 yards and a touchdown. So congratulations to him. Always fun. Keeps those subs interested when they get a little taste of playing. And they got a big taste on Thursday night, 40-8.
That's the thing I hate about the 30-point running clock. It's sad that we have to have a running clock, but we do. But I liked it better when it was 35. And no, nobody likes to see a team, some young people get embarrassed. But man, those young people, once it gets to 30, that second
Does
half.
this meet our qualification we talked about earlier?
Clown show?
No, I'm talking
Oh, that's clown.
32-point win. Didn't we say that we're going to keep it at?
Oh, we were going to keep it at 35.
That's all.
No, we're going to give it to him because it very well.
Could have been 60.
Coach Derrick.
He's a nice person.
He's a very nice man. And Freddie B is a very nice man, the head coach of McGavick. I know you don't care about that. But the young people don't get time. And so here's the other thing that I hate. The guys in between, right? So you want to get the puppies time to play because they rarely get to play. But then these guys that are maybe second, third team that hadn't get to play a whole lot, it goes by too fast.
Right.
So, anyways, but yes, love seeing a glimpse of the film, and I don't think it's time. I mean, I know we have, but Ty Collins, what a great story, right? And I think Tennessean even wrote an article on it, but he didn't get mad and take his ball and go home, and I get it, man. You got to do what's best for you, but he stayed the course, played behind a guy who's at Georgia Southern now and was older and already the starting quarterback. He's playing at such a high level, man. 15. I mean, I don't think he's thrown more than four incompletions in a game. So you got to love that. You see some Aaron Sylvester. Jackson Bandy continues to lead the way on defense. My man Luke Colbert out there playing a little cornerback for the Knights defense, man. I think they're kind of mad that everybody's talking about Centennial and Page and not them.
Well, good.
I think they got something to say
It'll
about
make
it.
the games better.
Oh, yes.
Carson Kelly with the pick 6 and Trey McTorrey with an interception. Yeah. Multi-sport Trey. Pretty good wrestler.
He's the best wrestler on that field. If he doesn't pick you off, he's going to shoot a single leg on you.
Fairview, here we go again. 38-0 over Stewart County. The win column for Fairview. But essentially, now it's not mathematically over, but it is. Stewart County's not beating anyone in that region.
Thanks for playing.
It's a 5-team region, so Fairview's in. They know they're a playoff team, pretty much now. Jax McCoy continues to get better. 10 for 17, 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, which I thought was key. And Wendell Billingsley, the stat stuffer. 3 receptions, 55 yards, 2 touchdowns. 2 rushes, 38 yards, a touchdown. And he also has 4 tackles on defense, which is a low output for him, considering he had 24 in game 1 and 14 in game 2.
Yes.
He's probably over his pads off pretty early, though.
Yes, he was.
I'm
eating.
assuming he didn't play the second.
You remember seeing Qualls doing that? That's eating popcorn at halftime. No, but there's a couple things that go in that. One, if we have an Ironman award this year, Luke McNeely, Clayton Merrill. I mean, I don't think he's playing any defense, but he does so many different things. Wendell Billingsley. We got a lot of great candidates for this.
We do.
I don't think, and I think it had a lot to do with the record, but Fairview was so banged up, especially on defense. Wendell was having to play a lot. One, this game got out of control, and Wendell didn't play a whole lot in the second half, but he also didn't have to play as much on defense. That's
Right.
why that was the first thing that went through my mind when I saw it is, dang, he went from 24 and 14 to 4. Well, he only played in the first half, and they've also got some guys back on defense. So
Which they needed to.
they needed to. But everybody was, there might have been a little banter at game day about, has Fairview lost their juice? No, man, they were just banged up. They're back. They got a young quarterback who's athletic as heck. He's getting better.
And their team's young.
Their team's young, but by the end of the year, they won't be young, and the Stewart counties of the world are going to be in trouble.
Ravenwood, the way they won this game, I think, was great for them.
Yes.
They're a young team. They go on the road. They're down 28-21, 4 minutes left. So with a young team, you're like, that's a recipe for disaster. No, it's Ravenwood. They get a 52-yard touchdown pass from Femi Babalola.
He's getting better
All-
week by week.
To Ben Hubbard. He had 2 touchdowns, by the way.
Yep.
Defense then causes a fumble on the Blackman 30. Carter Pace scores with 2:20 to go. Defense holds on. And I thought big drive into the first half. They're down 14-7. They put a good drive together. Big pass from Femi to Hubbard during that time. Again, Carter Pace scores, ties it at 14. I thought this was even though I thought they would win big, when I say big, 15 or more, I think the way they won it was better for them long term because they've got those young guys.
Yeah, and they had to figure it out, right? Like they had some people that had to figure it out under pressure when it counted, and when there are no redos on the mistakes. So they're getting healthy. Femi Babalola is getting better every week. Multi-sport guy. What is it? You buy into that? He plays basketball. Like the stage isn't too big for him. The pressure doesn't get to him, and I think it's because they've been in so many games. They've been there before, right? And so, love seeing that. He's getting better. He's athletic. Carter Pace is.
Carter Pace.
The pitch count might have come off on 21 carries. It's kind of hard to call that a pitch count, but there you go. You see it when he gets 20 carries, he's getting 3 touchdowns. And then, let's go back to week 1 when Donovan Starr on the catapult. What did we say he got to? 23 miles an hour?
Real fast.
And the cheetah, I was a little off on that. But Ben Hubbard's another guy. I want to know what his catapult is. Starr or Hubbard getting in the open field, I don't care who it is in the state, you're not catching him. And they're another one. They're like Fairview. They were so beat up on defense and so young. They're starting to get better. They're getting some people back. Ravenwood's getting ready to find their groove.
113 yards receiving for Hubbard with those 2 touchdowns. On defense, Lucas Houston, 8 tackles, 1 for a loss. Elliott Hampton with a couple sacks. Jacob, number 0, Thompson, recovered a big fumble.
You love number 0.
I love it. Summit Green Hill. I
Okay.
was disappointed in this result. Summit really played well. I think a lot of people, I picked Summit. You didn't, by the way. But you were right. I think a lot of people would have thought that would have been an upset. Summit played well. They were up 35-28 late. It was a back and forth kind of game. They just couldn't hold on. Mason McElhaney scores on a quarterback keeper early in the first play of the fourth quarter. They go up 35-28, don't score again. But McElhaney, another good night, 5 of 12 passing, 86 yards and a touchdown, 17 carries, 97 yards, 2 rushing TDs. I thought Green Hill did a good job locking up Hollis, running the ball. But to Summit's credit, one of those touchdowns from McElhaney was a pass to Hollis. 56 yards, I think it was, for a touchdown. And I liked it, Sam Sloan. A couple more touchdowns for him running the ball. I think the biggest thing, if you've really pinned down Coach Coleman, it's the 14 penalties for 102 yards and the fumble that they're probably regretting. 14 and they still score 35 points.
Right.
But they can't
You
really
lost by 6. You have 14 penalties and lost fumble.
can't really afford those.
No.
Their margin for error is slimmer than it's been.
Slimmer than it's been. But I love what they're doing offensively, man.
I do too.
Green Hill's a playoff team, maybe a win a round or two playoff team. So score 35 points against them. The offense is getting better. And he said it. Mason just didn't get a chance to do it last year, but he's got all the confidence in Mason. He knew he could have a big year, which he's doing. So got to clean those things up. That's a tough one, man, because
2-1 would have felt pretty good.
2-1 feels better. I mean, it sounds stupid, no joke, right? But 2-1 would have felt a lot better than 1-2 with this. I think even though you don't like it, you can be okay with a 1-2 record with Independence right now, right?
Right.
That feels different over there than this one.
It does. It does. Hey, let's talk a little volleyball. Congratulations to Coach Riker and Summit. They defeat Independence in the border battle 3-2, 15-11 in the last set. And then I was impressed with this. 5-set win over Brentwood. They lost the first 2 sets. They're down 2 sets nothing against a powerhouse, let's face it. Brentwood's a powerhouse. They win the last 3 sets, 25-22, 25-21, 15-11. Alex Chortik, 18 kills for Summit. Maggie Calise.
Strong.
With 15 kills. Kalis. Don't want to mess that up. Give Maggie a shout out. Brentwood, Eliza McKnight with 21 kills. Daly Oatsvall with 17. Here's what I want to share about volleyball. I mean, I love this. It's this tight. Centennial's 0-5. They're probably the one that's not quite like the others. Nolensville's good. They're 1-4 in league play.
Probably the best 1-4 team in the history of 1-4.
Summit, Indy, Page, Franklin, Brentwood. That's 5 teams, all 3-2. Ravenwood 4-1. I cannot wait for that district tournament.
Ravenwood has the Battle of the Wood this week, right?
It's a big one.
And Nolo.
Those are
They
big.
win those 2. That's big separation.
It is. It is.
Coach Young said it's the closest they've all been at one time. He said almost every single one of them could make a state run.
Yes, except Centennial. They're not quite that level right now. Fairview, 3-1 win over Stewart County in their league. Hey, soccer real quick.
Stewart County doesn't like Fairview.
They don't. Soccer, Franklin, 2-0 win in the Battle of Franklin over Centennial. It was at Centennial. Goals by Mia Hassan, Georgia Shields, Molly Forrest with another shutout. Defense playing well for Franklin. Fairview, 8-1 over Creekwood. They played pretty good soccer there.
Yeah, Creekwood. Yeah. Fairview soccer's.
Fairview, I was talking Fairview.
Heck yeah. They've been on the rise. They're for real now.
Some golf scores I want to mention. Brentwood, Nolensville girls with the win. That's a good win for Coach Ladd and his team.
Big win.
Brentwood boys win. Graham O'Neill, Fletcher Dasso, Sam Johnson, all with an even par 36.
Is it time to put Fletcher Dasso on the all-name team? I like that one.
We mentioned him one more time, he said.
All right, good.
Brentwood, Ravenwood. Ravenwood girls, Brentwood boys. A little split there in the Battle of the Woods. Franklin, Nolensville. Franklin wins both. Will Pinson, even par. We got such great golfers.
We do.
Page Independence, Page girls win. Gabby Diaz with a +3. Independence boys, and that's a great win for Indy. Page did play a little different line.
Okay.
I like this by Eichhoff, Coach Eichhoff, doing what Coach Brock does on the track side. Let these other people compete, because really when it gets down to it, the regular season doesn't matter at all.
That's right.
You want to win, but. And then Page versus Summit, Page wins both. All right, now, let's finish up with pick'ems. You and the fans had a great week. You can't do any better than 7-0. Y'all had perfect records, but you needed to. The fans are 16-6. You're 17-5. Dr. Qualls, who changed both of his losing picks at the last minute.
Overthought it.
He would have been 7-0. He's in second, though, 18-4.
He overthought it.
He did. Yours truly went 6-1, 19-3, so it's getting a little closer. Fans continue to vote on X. That's Twitter. WCSCO Athletics.
By the way, it's starting to grow on me.
X.
Don't call me Breesy texted me about the X conversation we had a couple of weeks ago. It's starting to grow on me a little bit. What about you?
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's better than the Bird.
Yeah. Brentwood, let's get right into we got to go into pickers now.
Where is this?
So it's at Brentwood. Now get
Okay.
this. I'm going to let you pick first. The last 2 years they've played, 14-12 Brentwood, 21-14 Brentwood. Henry County's a really good team. As you talked about, Brentwood's a little banged up. Who you got in that one, Tate?
Henry County's a tough team. They just beat the Riverdale Warriors, right, in week 2. This Brentwood team's legit. I'm not going to say a boat race, but double digits, the Bruins.
Brentwood.
Yep.
I agree. Game number 2, I'll take this one. Centennial 3-0 at the artist formerly known as Hillwood, James Lawson.
Now, your old buddy's there, so
Yeah. James Lawson.
FedEx driver.
James Lawson with wins over Cheatham, Sycamore, and I was going to try to ignore it. And Stratford. It's the first region game for both teams. Hey, James Lawson, let me tell you what you're going to get. Your first loss.
Yeah.
Centennial rolls in this one. Rolls.
I will
Rolls.
say that. Oh yeah, I will say this though. That new school is really cool.
It's great.
It's right down the road. It's right down the road from
Which dump?
the county dump. Just go to the county dump, take a left, get back off the interstate. I really respect. Yeah, nobody cares about that. I respect what Coach Lilly's doing at Lawson. This is Dominic gets 4 more touchdowns.
Fairview versus Richland.
Richland's pretty good.
They've got wins over Cascade and Wayne County. They lost to Lincoln County by 1, which is not bad, a lot bigger school.
Yeah.
Fairview at home versus Richland. Does Fairview keep it going, Tate Mathews?
Yes. Fairview's getting healthy. They're getting better, and Richland is still Richland. I'm going with the Yellow Jackets.
I agree. I'm going Fairview.
Qualls will outthink this and go with Richland. I hope he does.
Nolensville versus Glencliff. Let's get this over with.
Good grief.
Nolensville dominates. Listen, I know Glencliff got a win. They got a program started again, but it was over Republic.
Yeah, but I like them.
Who? Republic or
No,
Glencliff?
Glencliff.
Okay. They had a nice video I noticed in their preseason stuff. I thought that
They're
was
doing
kind of
some
cool.
good stuff.
They are.
But it ain't going to matter.
Let me tell you some stuff they haven't done well. They lost to Stratford and Ezel Harding.
And they don't play very good defense.
First region game for both, Nolensville. Once again, Aaron Sylvester is going to get to play some QB for Nolensville.
Yes, maybe 2 quarters.
All right, so we agree, Nolensville. Tate, Paige Laverne.
I mean,
Come on.
Lavergne gave up 70-plus points to the Siegel Beagles. Think about that. This is just what Paige needs to get healthy, and this is exactly what the doctor ordered.
Yes, Paige.
This is a boat race, too.
I agree, Paige. Speaking of another boat race, Ravenwood at Smyrna. Ravenwood dominates. Dominates.
Much respect for Coach Williams and the Smyrna Bulldogs, so I don't know that I'll go dominate.
Dominate.
But Ravenwood wins. I don't know if there's any quarterbacks left other than Femi Babaloa, but if there is, they're going to play.
They dominate. They'll be 3-1 coming home. And they'll come home a little bit earlier.
Yep.
Tate, here's one that could be a little.
Oof, this is dicey.
Are you going to go against Summit again? That's kind of the first question. Because I know they're watching. Summit 1-2, hosting Blackman. Sort of a homecoming, so to speak, for Coach Kreisky. They lost to Brentwood, Stewart's Creek, in a very close game to Ravenwood. Who you going with, Tate?
Well, if you like Navy and Orange,
Yeah.
this is the game for you.
Good game.
There's going to be a lot of Navy and a lot of Orange. Coach Coleman and Coach Kreisky are very good friends, and they got a lot in common. That Blackman Brentwood score raised some eyebrows. Not Brentwood. That was a tail kicking. The Blackman Ravenwood score raised some eyebrows. I got some catching up to do. And I know there's no way you'll pick an 0-3 Blackman team. So I'm going to go Blackman. There's no way you're picking Blackman.
I hate to say it, but I'm going to pick Blackman.
Oh,
too.
my
And
gosh.
I don't want to. Please prove me wrong. And the only reason I feel comfortable doing that is because I did pick Summit to win last week.
Okay.
Oh, you're going to switch it up? We never do that, but I'm going to allow it if you'll do
Well,
it.
no, because I don't want an asterisk besides this. Am I allowed to change?
You do whatever you're comfortable with. I'd rather them give you a hard time.
All right, I go Blackman. Qual, I cannot lose Qual. No. Are you gonna accept it
What?
if I change?
Yes, I'll accept it.
I'll take Summit.
Okay.
Mason McElhaney. Come on, baby.
I feel like we've set a precedent, so that's not.
Okay, no, I don't want to do it then.
No, we're doing it. We got to get permission. I gave permission.
Okay.
And I may
The
have to
league
do that. I
commissioner?
may have to do that on you later. Final pick, WCTV Game of the Week. We know who you have to pick. I'm gonna pick first.
Yeah, but I don't like this, and here's why.
And it's who I have to
Indy
pick.
thinks I'm hating on him, and I'm not.
No, of course you're not. But I'm definitely not. I'm picking Indy. Indy versus Franklin. I'm going Indy.
Hey, man, I stand by
Oh.
my statement. They're going to win a big game. They have got weapons. We've already seen it. They have not given up. They're going to keep fighting. I think Indy is Oakland, Page, and now Centennial. I don't know if anybody's played a tougher week 1 through 3 than Independence. I'm going with Franklin. The Addies, the Admirals.
So the difference being, you've got Franklin and Summit, and I feel terrible picking Blackman. I hope I'm wrong. Let me just say, I hope I'm wrong.
Did Coach Workman give you like some insider trading information? Or?
If anybody would give that kind of thing, it'd be him. Tate, is always great to see you. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Love to get up for a lot of different reasons.
I'm not so sure we shouldn't wear this on a game day. When it gets a little chillier.
Get a little mist in the air.
When you have time, go back and hit pause and just really appreciate this logo.
Tate, see you next week.
Yeah, brother.
Thanks for joining us for Sports Connection. We'll see you next time.